Welcome back to Missouri River Bottom for episode 12. I'm BP and it's September. Last episode we sold a bunch of products, completed a plowing contract, and placed our new sheep pen. Today we need to buy some sheep and get them fed. Well, as you guys just saw, I got the grass field mowed before the episode started. I wanted to put that on a time lapse for you guys. Let's run down to the shed and grab the Deutz that's connected up to our forage wagon and go pick up that grass. I want to have the sheep pen. I want them to have some food before they get placed, or possibly even have the food pen filled. So we'll jump in here. Get started, drive on down to the field. We'll get this picked up, we'll discuss the plan for today, and when that's all done, we'll be ready to move on. So exciting news, it is September. That means that next month in October, our corn field is going to be ready to harvest. So let's just take a quick stop here and run over and check on the progress. That corn is getting nice and tall. Yeah, so we're in growth stage 6 of 7. Still 100% fertilized, still 100% yield bonus. So we are in really good shape with the corn. I anticipate being able to harvest that next month. So that's going to be a big episode. Lots of activity. Excited to see how much we get off that field. I expect we'll get somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.5 to 2 million liters off of our cornfield, but we'll have to wait and see. So, to get started for today, let's get the grass picked up. It was funny, the worker that cut this grass field had some problems on that first lap. Some weird inside-out corners, almost ended up in the drainage ditch up here. Not exactly the most graceful job, but they did get it done, and they got almost all of it. I think this very top corner, they missed a little bit. I am considering taking that tree out right up here. It does seem to be in the way of the tractors turning around. Also always gets in the way of the camera. So maybe we'll chop that down and run that back to the sawmill. The sawmill is empty. I don't know that it'd even be worth running with one tree in it, but we could put it in there, and if we get a couple more, we could run that. So that might be a good idea. So for today's plan, we're going to get this grass up, put it in the sheep pen, at least as much as it will hold. Then we will run down to the shop and pick up the sheep. I haven't decided what I want to do about buying sheep. I don't want to buy all lambs. We're in our second year, and I think it's important that we get some production out of our sheep sooner rather than later. I did some checking between episodes, and I believe our animal trailer holds 400 sheep. So I was thinking maybe do 200 lambs and 200 full-grown sheep. That way we'd get some wool, we'd save some money on the cost of the sheep, and we'd have the lambs that would be growing up. But we'll have to see what the cost is when we get down there and figure that out. But I do want to have at least some full-grown sheep producing wool right away, so we can, have that source of income and have that, that aspect of our farm fully functional before we, get out of year 2. Just up here, straight ahead on the other side of that tree, if you guys look over there, I did pick up a plowing contract on field 29. I believe that one was worth $324,000 to plow field 29. So I did get the Fent with our big plow set up and started over there before we jumped into the episode. So he'll be working away in the background. you know, it wasn't a bad option, a $324,000 contract for our one and only contract for the month of September will be great. So, and it's going to put us real close to being able to purchase a field. We'll see how the sheep affect the budget, but that would put us over $900,000, getting close to $1 million. We'd have the corn to sell. We did discuss selling some lime last episode. We've got, you know, $75,000 to $100,000 worth of lime in our lime production. We could sell, push us up to about $1 million, and that would get us into some decent field options on the map to pick up more fields. That we are a little late in the season, so, you know, wheat, barley, oat have all been harvested already for the year. There is a chance sorghum is set to harvest tomorrow or next month. So if there's a sorghum field that lines up with what we're looking for, we could pick that up, and that would give us the chance to harvest our field and get somewhere and, you know, make some money back on that field purchase right away. I don't know how many sorghum fields there are or if they're going to be ready and within our price range, but at least an option to consider. We could certainly look at some of the other fields. There does appear to be quite a bit of root crops. We've got parsnips and carrots. There have been several spinach fields this year as well. So those aren't of much interest to us. We could always, for the right field, the right crop, we could always lease, you know, a root harvester, say a Colossus or something of that nature, and just harvest the field. Essentially cover the cost of the lease, you know, sell the crop and try to help offset some of the cost of the field. But as I said, I'm not real big into root crop farming. It tends to take a while. It's very repetitive. It is fun in regards to having a lot of crop to deal with. We have big equipment. We have our big Wilson pace setter dump trailer or underbelly trailer that we could use to haul stuff. So we have some of the right equipment, but it tends to just be a lot of emptying the harvester, a lot of running back and forth to the silo and the sell point. So I'm just not sure it's worth it, but we'll check and see where we are money-wise at the end of the month and heading into next month, see what fields are out there and might make sense. But we'll be in good shape for that. So here we are, just wrapping up. I think we're going to get just under 1 million liters. That's about what we got last time. So, real consistent yield on this field, which is great. We will, before we head to the shop to get the sheep, we will set the manure wagon up on this field to start fertilizing it again. We should check and see if it needs lime. May jump out here because my map doesn't always work. So fertilizing 50% doesn't require lime, just checking a couple of different spots. Yeah, so we're only 50% fertilized, but we don't need lime, which is good news. So we can get set up with that manure wagon. We can empty the manure pit, also head over to our slurry dryer, top off our manure wagon, and go from there. I don't have any idea what the capacity is for the sheep pen. So we'll head over there and just see how much it takes. We can always throw the rest of the grass into the farm production silo. This is not going to be the best trailer to get underneath this awning. But let's see if we can hit that trigger point. No, not quite. Let's see if we back up a little bit and get it angled in there. We can find that trigger point. Well, it seems to be fighting us a little bit. Maybe we need to get a smaller trailer that can get underneath there, because it doesn't seem to be interested in... Yep, so that's not going to take. So let's go ahead and put this into our farm production silo. We can get the Flegel and the JCB and run that over and get underneath that awning a little bit. So, and I might just be looking at the wrong spot. I can always turn the triggers on. Alright. Empty him out. So 970 was 974,000 liters of grass. That should keep some sheep happy for a while. We can, I should double check before we take off that the silage is not turned on. It is, so we don't want that on because we want to keep that as grass. Let's see, do we lose any grass? Just maybe a couple of liters, no big deal. So we'll get this guy parked. While he's parking, let's run over and jump in the JCB. They're still connected to the slurry tanker from last time. We want to get him on the Fleagle. Probably should run down and put a load of straw into the cow barn. I don't think they'll take very much. We just topped them off at the end of last episode, but no point in putting it back in a silo if it'll go in the barn instead. So here we are. Run in here. Let's see. I have 78,000 liters in there. Oh, it's taking a decent amount. It took about 27,000 liters. Not bad. We'll put the rest back in the silo. We'll grab some grass. We'll go over. We'll get the sheep pen filled up. And I did want to point out to you guys, you can see straight ahead, I'll jump out, our Angus calves. We have our first batch. There's one from our second batch. And here's one from our first batch. So our Angus cows, yeah, you got something to say about it too, huh, buddy? We have a batch that are full grown. So jumping in here for the animal barn, these guys are 12 months old. They're worth $1,600. We bought them for $300. So we're looking at about $1,300 profit per animal. So about $130,000 profit if we sold them all right now. So they will hit puberty. They're at 66%. Our next batch we bought were these limousines that are now 10 months old. They're up to $1,384. Then our 8-month-old Angus calves and our 4-month-old limousines as well. So the beef cattle are doing great. They're happy. Oh, we got one over here in the woods. I don't know that I've seen one in the woods. Here we go. We'll go say hi to this guy. He's found a good spot here in the shade. That's why we wanted to make sure they had some woods in their pasture. Don't see any other ones, but he's over here hanging out in the woods by himself. So anyways, we're doing well with the beef cattle. I think that was a good investment. We could always look at selling some of those. Ideally, I'd like to let them reproduce once before we sell them, but I think they have to get through puberty, and then after that, they then have to go through gestation to give birth, which I believe is about 10 months. So we could be, you know, more than a year out from having our first beef cattle calves from our existing animals. So not sure that that will be on this farm for that long, but we'll keep an eye on it, and if nothing else, we can sell them off at the end. So let's grab some grass, get 100,000 liters in here, all filled up. Here we are, headed over to the sheep pen. Let's see if we have a little better luck. This is why I wanted the JCB on the farm. Smaller frame tractor, pulls a smaller trailer. Should be able to get in nice and close to the edge of our sheep pen here. And are we going to get a trigger? Let's look and see. Yeah, we're just not getting that trigger. So let's back up and see if we can't. Let's just turn the trigger on. Let's not guess anymore. We haven't filled this one up before, so not sure exactly where it is. It is right there, so we were right on it. Maybe I'll try backing up a little bit and getting... Oh, I think our door is open here. Let's see if we can get our door closed. There we go. Letting in some fresh air. So pull up here, cut it hard backwards, and see if we can get that trigger to hit. It's really fighting us on that. We are not small enough to get underneath that awning. This is a very small sheep pen. So, have to do some problem solving on this one. Let's see if I get even closer and get squared up totally to it. If I can get it to register. Yeah, it's having a collision already. Got a couple of ideas. Let's first try coming from this side. May just need a smaller implement to get it to work. Yeah, we're just gonna hit that roof line no matter what with this. So put the grass back in. As I said, I've got a couple ideas of how we can make that work. It is odd that that roof line is so low. I'm wondering if maybe the model on that sheet pen was shrunk a little bit and isn't full size, because I think usually you can get underneath those with a decent sized trailer. So I'm sort of surprised that we're not able to get that to trigger. Go ahead and put the grass. Oh, we're on the wrong implement, that's why. While that's emptying, I'm going to turn the triggers back off. Don't need all those hanging around. Okay, so we will send the JCB to park. Make sure he's swinging around. We'll grab the Deutz with the manure wagon next. Manure wagon should be right over here. Oh, JCB's parking up well. Glad that he is wrapped up. Alright, so we have a little bit of manure in here. Let's run down and fill up at our manure pit. Could have a decent amount in here, 232,000 liters, so we're starting to get a lot of manure, which is good news. I do believe the capacity of this manure wagon is 500,000 liters, so we should be in good shape to pick it all up, and then we'll also go and tag in at the slurry drying production. Just get this guy turned. Oh, beautiful. Let's pick up, let's see what we have. I think we dropped off 259,000 liters of slurry yesterday or last month. So, and that left us with, yep, 60 per day, which is about what we expected. Check that production. So we do have 181 left, and, you know, we had just about 60,000 liters of manure. So that's working as expected. I think 60,000 liters a day will be good. It's going to take just a second to get this guy topped off. I'm wondering for the sheet pen to get the grass in there. We have a couple of options. Wondering if any of them, I thought I saw one. That's not a bad trailer, but I'm wondering if we grab something like one of these, because the Lizard Titan trailers, if I remember correctly, they will side dump. So we could get up there and get that close. That's one option that I think could be good to look at. The other option, I have to remember where I found it. It's a mod I downloaded, not from the mod hub, and ended up in a weird spot. Here it is, the International Feed Truck. So we could pick up the feed truck, and that definitely has a side chute on it, and I'm not sure how much that holds. 32,000, so it'd be several trips, but we could do that. It does hold, it looks like, straw, silage, mineral feed, TMR. That looks like hay to me, and then forage. So I'm not sure that takes grass. So that may not be a good option for us. We could give the sheep hay. That wouldn't be hard to do. While we're in here, here's part of the anhydrous setup that I downloaded the other day. So we've got we got the big cultivator and a couple of tank options. So when it comes time to do some work on that cornfield, we can get that done. So I'm not sure which one we want to pick up yet. You know, the side dump trailers would be a good option, just assuming we could get underneath the edge there. And that holds just about everything. So it's still pretty tall. But I do wonder, because there'll be a tip point on the side here that we'll be able to get triggered. So this might be the best option. Maybe we'll replace that Flegel trailer with this, because we can use this for the straw and the cows as well. It has a grain door. We'll do a full tilt at the back. It'll tip on the sides. So this really could be a good option. So let's table that for just a second. We have the manure all topped off. We're at 357,000 liters. So we've got a lot of manure, which is great news. I have started saving some of our course play courses for future use. So when I did mow previous to this episode, I did save that. We'll go ahead and get the manure spreader set up and then also save that course. We may already have this one in here. We'll have to wait and see. Let's swing on to the field and let's just check and see what we have in regards to courses. So jump down here. So we have planting and mowing. So we definitely don't have a manure spreading course. So I'm going to hit create folder. I'm just going to call this folder manure. As I said earlier, you know, I label all my folders based on what action they are and then just put the field courses inside each of them. So this should be all good. We don't want the field work at 29 miles an hour. That's a bit fast. 22.4 seems good. We want to come in here. We want to have 2 headlands, 0 rounded corners. We'll go ahead and generate that course. Excellent. We will start the Deutz off on that course, and then we'll come in here, select manure, save course, and this is just going to be field 23. So now we can just preload that course. You can actually, a lot of times, put that course in, just hit start, and it'll drive up to the field itself if it has a clear path to do it. So that's a good addition. See how this guy's doing. It's all squared up to the field corner. Yeah, and he's off, so in good shape, running well, all the way up to 22 miles an hour. Excellent. Well, before we head back and grab the TLX and go buy those sheep and potentially get ourselves a new trailer, let's see if we can find the... I'm not seeing the Fendt. Did it end up off course over here? Huh. Well, the good news is we have the garage mod. So now I can simply come in here and the Fendt is gone. So the Fendt appears to have fallen through the map. Oh no, large tractors. Hold on. There we go. Now we're better off. Let's enter the vehicle. Oh no, he's working away. Great. Thought maybe for a second there we lost a tractor and a plow. That would have been a little more excitement than we were ready for today. So he's plowing away. He's got a good portion of it done. He's at almost 60% complete. Knocking this contract out. This is that huge field. You know, field 29 is 194 acres. So that's crazy. While we're in here, let's look and see if there are any sorghum fields. So let's turn them on and off and we'll zoom out a little bit. So sorghum. Yeah, it looks like field 33 has some sorghum in it up here. Not seeing. I think that may be the only sorghum field, so probably not worth buying. It's only 290,000. It's pretty far away from the farm, so not ideal. What else is getting close to being ready to harvest? So field 28, if I remember correctly, has is it carrots in it? Yeah, carrots. I mean, field 28 would be a great field to buy. I'm not really interested in carrots. It's $4.2 million. Even with our $1.2 million discount from Ben, we're still looking at $3 million. So we're nowhere near able to afford that field. What else is growing and looks pretty good? Field 24, is that soybeans? Now, field 24, that's interesting. 1.754 million. We have a $438,000 discount from David. Who's our contract for today? it is for Ben. So that's not going to help us with that one. But field 24 being soybeans could be really interesting. So we may try to figure out how to get an additional probably $750, almost $800,000 between now and when it's soybean harvest time, because that field is just off the corner of our farm and could be a really nice option. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's jump into the TLX, which should be parked right up here. Go ahead and get started. We'll disconnect from the underbelly trailer. Let's head down to the barn and grab our animal transport trailer. We'll head over to the shop and grab those sheep. So as we were discussing earlier, I do want to grab some fully grown sheep, and as well as potentially some younger sheep. We could buy all fully grown sheep. I'm not opposed to that. Just, we're just looking at also trying to buy a field, and we may want to try to save a little bit of money for the field purchase. So we'll have to take a look and see. While we're down there, maybe we make the decision about the trailer purchase as well to get the grass into the sheep pen. I should check while we're here before we head out. Let's get this guy pointed in the right direction here. Do the sheep, does that sheep enclosure take hay? It takes grass and it takes meadow, so it doesn't take hay. So that mixer wagon or that feed truck is not going to be a good option, because we'd have to produce hay and we can't put it in the barn anyway. So it looks like we're going to be looking at some kind of trailer with a side dump or a lower profile so we can get it up underneath that awning to hit that trigger point. Absolute worst case scenario, we'll pull up that sheep pasture and put down a different one if we have to. I can always do that between episodes. I'd like to keep that one. I think it was a good fit and it worked out well in that space. But if we just can't get to that trigger, then there's really not going to be much point in keeping it. So, and then in regards to the sheep, we'll have to take a look at the different types of sheep we have. Maybe we get some of those, maybe the full grown or one breed, and maybe we get some younger sheep of a different breed so we can tell them apart. And for reproduction purposes, we know who's having babies and where everything's coming from. But we'll have to figure that out when we get down there. Other than that, I think we're in good shape for this episode. I do want to get that contract wrapped up and collected before we head out today. I'm trying to get all of our contracts done in episode now so we can have a total count on our money. I guess that's a good point when we're talking about that field purchase. We will have, excluding the sheep cost, we'll have just about $935,000 in the bank after that contract today. So that'll get us closer to that field purchase. We're still going to need several $100,000 more. We'll have to figure out where that money is going to come from. And we need to do that before those soybeans become harvest ready, and either the farmer picks them up or they end up getting cleared off the field automatically, sometimes first thing in the morning. So we'll want to have to watch for that and be on top of trying to get that field early and often. So all right, let's figure out what we want to do with our sheep. So come in here. So sheep, we have Landrace, we have Steinschaft, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, Swiss Black Brown Mountain, Black Welsh Mountain, and we have some goats. So I am a fan of the Black Welsh Mountain. So let's pick up, those are $500 each. So 200 of those. And that is a lot of money. That's $100,000, and we're trying to purchase a field. So, do we... These are 3 months. We'd have to wait 5 months to get any wool. They're only $180 cheaper, which definitely would save us some money. but wouldn't give us a benefit of any sellable product until next year. So I think maybe we just go with, I mean, should we try just 100 of these? What does 100 of these look like? So 100 of these is going to be under 50 grand. I feel pretty good about that. So let's buy those. And then maybe the Steinschaft, the ones I can't say their name. And maybe we buy, what do we think? Another two, do we buy 250 of those? We can't fit, we could fit 250 of those in. So it's 50K on the nose for 50 calves. I'm sorry, they're not calves. For some baby sheep, and get them set up. So we'd be 100 grand into sheep. We'd be getting wool from our Black Mountains right off the bat. And we'd be getting, and then those would grow up. So those are 0 months. So at 8 months, they can start going into gestation and they can start producing wool. So be an investment for the future. Let's do that. 100 grand total. It's a little more than I thought we were going to spend, but we got a lot of sheep. So we're down to $512,000. We'll add that contract money and be back up to about $840,000. We have the sheep. We're still going to have to figure out getting them some grass. It is interesting that sheep pen did not grow meadow grass. So if you guys remember from some of our earlier episodes with the cow pasture, I did have to actually plow up the field we wanted to be meadow grass and actually plant grass in that and then put the barn down and put the fence down to include the grass field that we planted. And because of that, we're getting grass that is regrowing for our, oh, we're going to tip. Oh, saved it. Got talking and wasn't paying attention to my speed there. Almost dumped our sheep. But because of that, we're getting a replenishing meadow grass supply for our beef cattle, and we're not having to feed them. So that's great news, but we're not having the same thing with the sheep. So we're going to have to feed the sheep or they're not going to get any food. I could go back and try to plant a field and maybe replace the sheep barn or the sheep pen again, but I think based on the fact that we have field 23, it's full of grass, we have the mowing equipment, you know, we're getting so much grass off of it each cut. I think we just plan on keeping the sheep pen filled up with grass. It'll be one more task for our JCB to do, and hopefully if we can get that trigger figured out, we can also put that on an auto drive course. Yep, once again, blew the intersection. Just absolutely no brakes on this truck when it's full at the back. So back it up a little bit, get back into this intersection. Doing too much talking and not enough paying attention to my driving today, and the TLX is too big of a truck to not be paying attention. So we'll get back to the farm. We should be checking in on the Deutz up here on the right. Should be wrapping up the manure spreading on our grass field to get that fertilizer level back up to maximum. Wonder if we can see him off in the distance here. Might be down at the far end. Oh, there he is. Looks like he may be done. Looks like, yeah, that looks promising to me. I think he's done spreading manure, so we can collect him, send him back to the farm. We are hard on the brakes again. Just making the turn. I'm not sure what got changed on the brakes on the TLX, but certainly this trailer feels very, very heavy behind it. So I'm going to loop this way so we can back up to the door. The transfer point should be on the far side of the pen, so we should be pretty much squared up to it here when we pull through. Jump out so we can see what we're doing here. And let's see if we can get this trigger point to play nice over here. Oh, perfect first try. So let's move all 250 of the Steinschaft in. And again, if you know how to say that, please put it down as a comment and then down below. Love to actually be able to say that appropriately. 100 of the black Welsh mountain sheep. They are in. Our trailer is empty. We don't want to leave any animals in there. Not that that's ever happened before, but we'll make sure it's empty. Pull this back around, and then we'll go grab the Deutz and put the manure spreader away, and then we can send the Deutz down to the shop to pick up the new trailer so we can try to get the grass into the sheep pen. So let's run over here, check out our sheep, see who's running around. Oh, we got a couple of calves. There are a couple of baby sheep laying down here in the grass. It's funny, the grass is taller than they are. And here's some of our black Welsh mountain sheep. Those are the full-grown ones. Looking good, guys. Got a nice big green pasture to roam around in. Be great if we got some meadow grass out of it, but it's not happening at this point. There's another little guy. Couple more. Great, so they look really good. We will run up here and grab the manure spreader. Not sure why he's over here off the field now. This could be interesting. Well, there's no worker in it. Let's take a look. You know what will pop out? Let's just see if this field 100% fertilized. Just going to check all the way across. Yeah, we're only at 50% fertilized on this half of the field. So somewhere along the way, this guy got off track and did not finish fertilizing. So let's see what we can do to get him back on track. Is this going to be the start, or are we going to be... Okay, so we did... Okay, here we are. I don't have any idea how or why he ended up over here. But we'll get him restarted. We'll watch him for a pass or two and just make sure he's getting everywhere he needs to be. It does look like, yeah, there's, you can see the fertilizer or the manure down on the top of the screen. So we are back on track. Not entirely sure why he was over in the neighbor's field. Maybe got a little excited, heard us talking about picking up a soybean field and wanted to go check it out too. But he is back on track. Let's make sure that this corner gets taken well. Okay, so yeah, I mean, two headland passes seems to be enough. He was able to turn around without getting off the field there, so that was good news. So everything seems to be going well again. Not sure what happened to change that, but that is where we found ourselves there a minute ago. All right, let's visit our Flegel tipper. So I think maybe we send the JCB to the shop. We were going to send the Deutz. Send the JCB down with the Flegel. And we'll sell the Flegel and pick up one of the trailers with a side tip. We'll let him run. While that's happening, I'm going to come in here and try to park the animal trailer back down at the shop. I am wondering, or down at the barn, I am wondering if we should find a better or different spot for the animal trailer. What if we tuck it in up here? We have the flat deck behind the shop, so there's no room there. But we did create a bit of a gravel runway over here, so I'm wondering if maybe what we do, if I pull it straight in here. Oh, I like that. That looks pretty good. So if we come in here, go to the construction menu, And I don't even want to use gravel. There's dirt, there's animal mud, asphalt, grass, gravel. Yeah, I don't really like any of the cobble or flagstones. I guess we could use the dirt. But just sort of put in a little bit of a double track here. Just sort of make it look like it's been driven over here and parked a couple of times. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, if we loop this back around and grab the auto drive course, I think we can set this up as a parking route and have that trailer back in. So, turn on the auto drive course. So from here, we're going to want to make a secondary course. We don't want any other vehicle trying to use this because it's not going to lead anywhere. We do want to connect that there. Pull it all the way up here. And then, I can never remember if we're allowed to back up on secondary courses. Well, it seems to be connecting, so that's not bad news. I think right in there is going to be about as good as we're going to get. Okay, so let's turn off recording. Well, actually, we should pull forward one spot. Okay, and let's get this truck out of the way and look and see what happened there. We got a little bit of a back and forth here that's not exactly what we want, so. Can we get the trailer out of the way enough for me to see? Maybe. Trailer over here. Swing the truck out. Yeah, there is. That's the waypoint we want back there. That's great news. So what happened in here? We swung down, we backed up, and where do these lead to and from? So we have that one. This is, and then we have this one. We have several extra waypoints here that don't make a ton of sense. So this one comes back. I think we want to delete that path. I don't know how to make it a backwards path. So maybe we'll just delete this one. Delete that one, delete that one, delete that one. Get rid of all these, loop that one back in, and then if we move this one all the way back to here, let's actually move it right here and label it first. And then put it all the way back where we want the trailer to stop. And then we want to connect a forward course up to here. All the way. Can we get one more node further up? Maybe we can see both. Okay, so theoretically, seems like we've got this pretty well figured out. So we'll come over here, set the parking location, animal trailer, and let's see what happens when we ask him to park the animal trailer now. The hope is he swings around, ends up backing it right in there, and we have a new, better spot rather than trying to get it parked in front of the cow barn. TLX does take its corners quite slow. Perfect. The JCB's reached the shop, so we're all set there to jump over there and switch out the trailer and come back and get our sheep fed. We're also at 98% on that plowing contract, which is great news. Okay, so here we go. Let's get a little lower. He comes in wide. All of that looks good. Have him pull all the way up. Give him a long runway to pull up and get straightened out. Oh, I have no idea what's going on there. So it didn't like that. So what did we do? It should have come up here and then backed up and done that. So that is very interesting. So I think what we'll do in an effort to make this work is pop the trailer off. Let's get back where we can see what we're doing. And a lot of times when you're using a big trailer like this, driving the actual course is a lot more complicated than if you just drop the trailer, drive it with just the TLX, and then that way you can get everything exactly where you want it to be. So we'll drop the trailer right here, come down here, and we're going to get rid of these waypoints that we're not totally sure about. We will pull back up to this point right here, get all the way up there, and then we'll get a good reversing course going. Okay, so now if we record a course, we're going backwards. And we want it to come all the way back to... Can we get one more? Nope, that's it. And then we're going to have it pull forwards. And back out to here. Stop recording. Connect that up. So now this waypoint right here, so we can make this easy. We'll delete this one. We'll put this waypoint all the way up here as the chase point to get everything straightened out. And then we should be able to come back here. We do need to label the parking spot one more time. Sometimes you just got to move the waypoint. Sometimes you get lucky. There it is. We got it. So we'll label this again. Park. Animal. Trailer. Great. That's all done. Turn off everything here. Jump back in the TLX. Let's go find our trailer. Always feels cleaner driving in cab as well. Looks like our plowing contract is done. Okay. So now if we select the park animal trailer and we have the trailer selected. So now let's see if this works a little bit better. Should follow that initial secondary course we put in. Get up front view for getting straightened out. To pull all the way up, as I said, it's really important to give your vehicles a long straightaway to get straightened up, particularly with a long trailer like this one. They don't do well backing up if the trailer is crooked, tends to get way off course and not give you the result you want. I never understand why it backs up wiggling the wheels like this, but that's very typical for auto drive when you're backing into a spot. You'll notice most of my sheds, like my lean-to cover sheds for most of the implements, are drive-through. It's just so much easier than backing up. But with a trailer this size, you know, sometimes you gotta just back it into a good spot and get it out of the way. So that is almost there. All right, it's parked. That's not bad at all, guys. That's worked out quite well. So go ahead and disconnect, turn off. Let's swing down to the shop and grab the JCB. And may have to swing in and turn on the trigger points because the actual shop trigger is somewhere right in here, and I just don't know exactly where it is. So let's swing into the menu, turn on interactive zone markers. Oh, we were close. So we'll get everything loaded up over here. Jump out. We will repair and repaint. We'll sell the Fleagle. Okay, and then into the shop. Make sure nothing popped into the sale while we drove down here. It did not. That Colossus Unrealistic Spreader was the last thing we saw. So trailers with side dumps that have some capacity. Here's one. It's only 34,000. I don't think that's going to be enough for our needs. We do have the Zelati mod, but that one I know is super tall, and we're having problems with the height already. So let's go with the Titan. Capacity, don't need 5 million. The standard capacity is 25. So we can go to 250K as the next smallest. Wow, that's a huge jump, but we'll make that happen. BKT, like the sort of thicker tires. Oh, we got wide options. Yeah, we're definitely going to do wides. Branding is fine. Rear light design. That's got to be what? The tail lights. Yeah, I think standard's a little too busy for me. A lot of shapes and colors. I like design 1 actually the best. Nice and clean. Got some elevated markers on the outside. No triangle. We don't want camouflage. Get the farm paint job put on it. I think the cover will go with the same blue. The frame should always be black in my mind. Maybe that's from my automotive days, but just always feel like they should be black. I'd like a darker gray on the sides. That looks pretty good. Reflector color, we're not looking to have reflectors. Rim colors should be black. The inner rim and outer rim, I don't know why that's a thing in Farm Sim 25, but it is. I think that is a sharp looking trailer for $20,000. So grab that. Be waiting for us outside the shop. Back in the JCB. There's our new trailer. It should have the ability to dump off the side, which hopefully will get us into the trigger for sheep pen. So overall, I think we're getting close to the end of the episode. We have completed the plowing contract. I do want to get that wrapped up before we're done. We'll run back to the farm in the JCB, grab some grass, figure out how to get it into the sheep pen. If this trailer doesn't work, I may have to replace that sheep pen between episodes. We'll have to see. And that should pretty much wrap up the episode for today. Next month, when we get into October, we expect to have the corn harvest on our mega field. So we get both harvesters out. We'll get the quad track out with the chaser bin. We'll be running the TLX on the Wilson Pace Setter underbelly trailer to go back and forth. And we have at least 2 things we need to do with the corn. First off, we got to put a little bit into our production silo to produce seed. I have to look at the actual recipe for that and make sure we have all the parts. I have this strange inclination that it's solid fertilizer, which we don't have yet. But I think we can figure out a way to make some solid fertilizer. If not, maybe we just buy 1,000 or 2,000 liters. So we need to produce seed that can go back into the field. I want to have a little bit on hand, even though both Kinsey planters have some left over from last time. And then the rest of it, the plan is to put into the corn dryer. I did, as I mentioned, find a sweet corn mod that allows us to can the corn and sell it as canned sweet corn. Not sure I want to be dropping productions on the map this early in the playthrough. Once we get into productions, there's a lot of shuffling of stuff back and forth. And I really think that we want to, you know, harvest the corn and get it sold as dry corn for maximum profit. We have that corn dryer here on the farm already. We already have the propane for it. So I think at least for this harvest, we'll probably just do some seeds and some dry corn and leave any of the productions. I know there's corn flour and sweet corn and all kinds of different things, canned goods, but I don't think we want to get into that too much at the start here. Well, the Deutz is back at the start like it finished the field, so maybe we'll pause up here and I'll jump back into the field and check and see if it got the entire thing. So we know it had gotten at least about halfway before, so let's get in so we're not on the headlands. Yeah, this is 100% fertilized. 100% fertilized, yeah, so it finished the field that time, so that's much better. So after we get the grass into the sheep pen, we can grab the Deutz, send it back, we can grab the Fendt, drive it back, and we should be pretty much ready to go for October, which is going to be super exciting. So I'm going to jump out of tractor here. Let's go ahead and see about getting the cover off. We'll run down to the farm production silo, fill up with some grass, and then we'll have to figure out which tip side we have. I do have the trigger point still on from being down at the shop, so we'll be able to see the sheep pen feed trigger, and if we can get that squared away, then I feel like we can get an auto drive course set up as well, which will be good for long term. That way the JCB could just run back and forth and get that done for us. So I want this on the left tip side. That is grain door, so tip side left. Okay, so that should put the trigger on the outside where we can pull up along the sheep pen and hopefully catch that trigger and get this in there. Like I said, if this doesn't work, then we might have to replace the sheep pen. I can do that between episodes and just put another one in there, but I'm hopeful that with a new trailer and a side tip, we should be in good shape. So if we come along here and get just as close as we can under that roof, we are rubbing the side of the building here. Alright, so we can get the trigger, but that is just going to be too close. We don't need to be touching the building there. So let's see if we pull out a little further. Can we catch the trigger from all the way out here? We can. So this is going to work, guys. I'm excited. We can set up an auto drive course as well. Ooh, we're going to be close to the side of the building. Maybe need to pull that out just a little bit more. Okay, so how much does the sheep pen hold? So we put 250 in, and that appears to be about half of the capacity. So let's loop through. You know what I might try real quick while I have you guys here with me? Let's see if we can put a course in to do the sheep grass as well. So we have our main course right here. Probably swing off right about here. Record a new one-way path. How'd our connection point go? That actually went pretty well. I'm going to pull up and leave a little bit of extra room for tipping. Okay, that point right there is going to be feed. And then we will stop recording. Let's get out of the silo first. And let's back up a little bit. And let's connect this guy right up to here. Okay, so now, if everything works, we should be able to go to the farm production silo, empty at the sheep feed, and we want grass. So let's take a look. We don't need to do that 5 times. Just 1 time will be sufficient. Turn that off. Get the camera locked in. And let's see if we can get auto drive to feed the sheep. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the interactive zone markers. So we only added that 1 little leg. We shouldn't have any problems getting the tractor, getting the trailer filled with grass. Then it's just a matter of looping around and going back to the sheep pen. So here's step 1, filling with grass. Great, that's going well so far. So at 500,000 liters for that sheep pen, we'll get just about 2 feedings out of that grass field for each cut. And if we get more sheep, because the pen holds a little over 1,000 sheep now, maybe 1,080, and we only have what do we get, 350, so we can triple the number of sheep we have basically. So they will end up going through a lot more food. So I think the size of the grass field and the amount of grass we're getting off of it is going to work well to keep our sheep fed as we expand our pasture. So let's just see how this guy does on his loop through. And then we'll go grab the doits and the fence, bring them back to the farm, and I think that's going to be a wrap. So we are real close to being done with this one. Just want to make sure that our auto drive course works. I do like our new parking spot for our animal transport trailer, better than having it buried all the way down at the cow shed. You know, not a lot of use for it down there. Easier to get to up here. So here we are, they've opened it. It's now looking for the trigger. Oh, guys, that worked out just beautifully. So is it going to hit the building when it tips? I don't even think it's going to hit the building. I think we are in the clear. That worked exceptionally well. So we'll go ahead. I was going to have this guy park him, but we don't have a parking spot picked. So actually, we can replace the Flegel parking spot with just the tipper. Okay, so that name has changed. We'll assign that a parking spot, and let's send him to get parked. So while he's parking, we'll go grab our other tractors that are out on the field doing contract work or fertilizing our fields. The Deutz is all set and good to go. We should be able to send him off to park without a problem. Give him a quick wash. We'll jump out. Let's run up the road and see if we can find the Fent before we head on out. And when we get up there, I think I see him right up here. Yeah, he's returned to the start of his course, so he's back at the beginning of the field where we set him off, which is perfect for us to come collect him. We'll jump in the Fent. Before we get out of the field, let's collect that contract. $324,415. A great contract for us. So that ends us at $841,900. So we're in good shape. Made some good money this episode. We do need about $400,000 to buy that soybean field tomorrow. We could take out another loan. It may not be a bad idea if we can't get the money. I'd love to be able to get the funds by selling some things, by, you know, whatever we can. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to pick up a field this harvest season so that we can get the benefit of having the crop in it and get that sold as well and recoup some of our money. Certainly we'll have some significant income coming in from our corn harvest and the corn drying. So we'd be able to pay back a loan in a matter of a couple of months if need be. So at the start of the next episode, we'll take a look and see, you know, what we have money option-wise. If we have a good contract, a couple $100,000, maybe we grab one of those and try to get the money in that way. And if not, then maybe we just consider getting a loan and going from there. Nice and clean. Swing it in. Did not get that square at all. There we go. Square it up a little bit. Drop it down. And disconnect, and we are all set. So guys, I think that's going to be the end of the episode. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.